Okay, Video Barbershop. We're going to talk about clipping. Once again, the public beta, download this for free on Apple's test flight. Link is in the description of the YouTube channel. Please download it, use it, send me feedback. I would love to hear what your video editing pipeline is and what features I can add to make this the type of program you want to use yourself. I use it myself for my videos on YouTube, and I've found it incredibly valuable for speeding up my ability to deliver content. And so clipping is the heart of, this why this program exists. So I've got a commercial here. It has a bit of the previous commercial before it, and then it fades into the actual commercial I want and then fades out. So I actually want to clip it right before and trim it there. So what you do is you line up your cursor to where you want to trim it, set the start time, and you'll see that it creates this little green cursor element showing you where it's going to start. Then you find where you want to end. Actually, it ends in black, so that's great. So I'm just going to say the end time is there and set that. And so this is my working clip now. And when I'm ready and happy with it, like maybe I actually want it there, I'll set it there instead. Or maybe let's a couple frames. Let's just shift it a couple frames and do it there instead. Once you find out, actually, I do want it at the end. So let's do that. Once you have what you want, then you clip your segment. You can either click here or hit S for snip, and it saves it off into your queue. Now, all of these buttons, start time, end time, also shifting the cursor. These buttons shift the cursor 100 frames at a time, 10 frames at a time, 1 frame at a time, either direction. All of these capabilities are mapped to keyboard shortcuts, and it's very valuable to know what those are. In the information box here, I list what these keyboard shortcuts are. A sets your start time, D sets your end time, S does your snipping. And the number pad and your arrow keys also increment the frames. So arrow keys and 1 and 3 increment by 1 frame, and then you've got 4 and 6 incrementing or decrementing by 10 frames, and then 100 frames with 7 and 9 on the keypad. So those are shortcuts to also, if you much prefer with the keyboard, to kind of power through things, is really handy to know. And I mean, being a gamer for so many years, my fingers have muscle memory for, A, S, D, and W. It's kind of how I want to live my life on the computer. But A, S, and D are very handy to get used to. Start, doing clips very quickly and easily when you know the keyboard shortcuts. But all the functionality is still here as well. Now, one thing I should mention is, so this auto set end time at cursor, what that means is, so normally what you do is you set the start time, and then you find where you want the end time to be, and then you set the end time. Well, when you set this, what it's really doing is it's auto setting the end time no matter where you put your cursor. And so we can kind of shift that around however we want, get it around, but it's already set the end time, so I don't even need to do that. So then I can just instantly snip it, and this will allow you to snip this much quicker as well. Now, whenever you set the end time, so there's the start time and end time, and I snip it, whenever you snip it, it automatically sets the start time as to where you end it. So you can actually break up a video into, say you have a really long video and you want to break it up into 15-minute segments for YouTube, for example, like you're throwing a movie on there. You want to break it up into a playlist in 15-minute segments. You can do that very quickly here and just find that 15-minute mark, 15-minute, 15-minute, there you go. And then you've got your movie broken out. So that may be something that you find very useful in your pipeline. The other thing to be aware of when it comes to clipping is once you've defined a clip, you can adjust the start and end times. Now, one way to do that is actually to revert the clip, and you can see the trash can that I was clicking on. If I hold down the Option key, you can see the little arrow there. That reverts the clip off of the queue back into the timeline, and you can adjust these how you want with the start time, the end time, and you can get it to where you want and you clip it again. Now, when you have a number of clips, let me just show that. So I have a number of clips, and say I want this one, I can actually revert this. It'll flag the clip that it was between, so that when I set this and snip it again, let's say I kind of clean it up there. Now I'm happy with it. I clip it again, it inserts it after the flag. And so you don't lose the spot that you were in. You're adjusting it and it puts it right back to where it was. That's all done automatically when you revert it. It'll flag the clip and revert it. Now, likewise, you can flag any spot and say, I do technically want this to be the first clip, but let's say there's something that I wanted to have as a second clip. Let's say this technically was my favorite second clip, and I insert that. Because it's flagged, it'll insert it right after it, so that becomes the 2, and then it shifts everything else 3, 4, 5. So you can do that as well in this kind of flag system and revert system. Now, this is duplicate. When you duplicate a clip, it throws it at the end of your queue. It just duplicates that and you're good to go. Now you can, let's say you want to do a Max Headroom style stutter where you've got someone saying something. You can then clip that stutter. You can flag the spot where you want it to add it, and then you can start, let's say the stutter was right there after clip 2. You can flag, it's right after clip 2, flag 2, insert the stutter, and then let's say I actually want to duplicate that, and I want to have a bunch of stutters, Max Headroom style, right after it. There. So normally when you clone a clip, it'll drop it to the very bottom, and you have to grab it and move it up in place where you want. But this way you can flag it and just duplicate, that kind of thing to your heart's content. These arrows that pop up when you mouse over these throw it to the very top or bottom, so that throws it up to the top. This one throws it down to the bottom. Another nice, little short way to not have to drag and move things around. You may have a ton of clips here, and you're scrolling around, and it's real pain to kind of get things placed properly. That's the shortcut for it. So now you'll see the information kind of disappears as I mouse over. That's just to make it easier to grab and drag over and to not compress and leave space for here. It's just simple to get used to that. So clipping, as I said, there's multiple ways of adjusting it. You can do that revert by holding down the Option key, and if you forget a lot of the details, there are these little helpful tooltips when you mouse over certain buttons, and of course I'm saying that and it's not actually doing it, but at some point in time that'll work. Where are my little tooltips? Have I mentioned this is beta, and you might come across some bugs? Feedback and any bugs you might find would be greatly helpful for me to help track this down. Um, so anyway, what I was going to talk about is if another way to adjust the edges of a clip that you've already created is selecting the clip and these edge arrows. This adjusts the start time of the clip over here on this side of the clip, and this arrow adjusts the end time of the clip over here. And so let's say the start time here, we want to clip it. Say we're listening to audio. Let me amplify that up, and say we find out actually what we want right there is for the clip to start there. You can set the start time at the cursor, and so it'll clip it right there. Now you see the cursor no longer stays there. The cursor is actually staying at the timestamp, and you'll see in the video timeline there's a timestamp here at all times. When you go into a video clip itself, the timeline, the timestamp itself maps to the clip. So it's 0 at the clip and the length of the clip. It's not the video itself, and it's not the time at this. If you unselect the clip, you see this is in the 26 second, but the cursor technically, is in 1 second into the clip itself. So the timelines or the time codes switches based upon what you have selected. Just keep that in mind. The times that you see here kind of map to these total times of the clips. 0 to 3.3 would be this one. So even though the start and end time map to the actual video timeline, some helpful information. But as I was saying, let's clip to set it there and say the end time. Now I just want to go a couple frames. You can use these just like you were when you're clipping and moving the cursor by the frames. You can do shift the start time by the frames. These are also mapped to the number pad in the same way. 1 and 3 are 1 frame at a time, and just hitting those won't move the cursor, it'll move the actual end time. And again, also here, number pad won't move the cursor when you have a clip selected, it'll move the start time when you're in this menu. So something to be aware of when you're doing that. Is a little different, but it makes sense with the consistent controls of shifting the cursor around in these end times. But you can further enhance, further adjust, your clip start time by the number of frames, start time and the end time. You can see it, you can visualize it here on the video timeline as opposed to the clip timeline. But when you do adjust it, you'll see that the audio wave form will adjust as well, and you'll see it fit in there. So if there's like a point of silence that you're really trying to lock into, you can kind of see it there and kind of like, oh, I want to get to the end. Now when I am adjusting, you'll notice the cursor snaps. When I'm adjusting the end time, the cursor snaps to the end. That's so you can see the actual video clip itself that you're getting to. Like there might be a transition that you're trying to hit, like that transition, and you want to clip it exactly at that frame. It'll snap it to the end frame for you as opposed to being at the start frame. So just another little thing to be aware of. But that is clipping and how to clip, and all of the features centered around probably the most used function in this app, the paradigm of creating clips from videos. Once again, beta is available for free download, Apple's test flight. All you have to do is click the link in the description of the YouTube channel and download Video Barbershop for free. Test it out. I'm hoping to have this get shipped in the next month or two, faster if if I can, but I'd really love feedback, and I really thank you for your time in exploring this app, looking into this, and learning how to use it. There's a lot of features and capabilities, and I'm going to try to create videos for every one of them. Again, if you have any questions about any one of these sections, I did try to create some helpful information in any of these. So please do look, whatever topic you're looking into, see if there's anything in here that was helpful. If not, send me feedback. I definitely also just want feedback on helpful tips and what would be good information for people to know and learn when it comes to clipping and using the app. So thank you very much.